Okay, so now we're going to go over how to create your account in Recruitinfo and how to set up your permissions. So this entire demonstration is done in the pre-production environment. So this website is not the correct website address to use. You're going to use recruitinfo.epa.gov, which is the real live production environment. So just keep that in mind as we go. So when you get to the Recruitinfo page, the first thing you're going to do is click the register link, which is under the continue button, and then select industry user. And your user ID can be anything you want. I often recommend to people to make it your email address because it's easy to remember. I'm not doing that here because I have a regulator account under my email address already. And so this is setting up an industry user account. So now it's connected to login.gov. It's going to tell you that it's taking you to a different website. And if you already have a login.gov account, you can sign in. If not, you're going to click on create an account. And then just follow the steps. And so I went and got my email and click on the confirm email address button in the email. And then you're going to have to set up a password. It does require certain things to be a quote unquote strong password. And then you'll have to set up a multi-factor authentication. So it gives you a few different options how to do that. People a lot of times will just do a text message, but the authentication application is a good option too. And so then you go to your phone, you get the message, and it does ask you if you want to add a second, but I'm going to skip that. And then once you agree and continue, it's going to take you back into Recruitinfo. And so then you put in your information. So a Recruitinfo account belongs to you as an individual person. So all of the security around your electronic signature means that it's got to be your personal account. You can't share accounts with anybody. And you shouldn't set up an account using a generic shared email address. It's got to be your personal email address. One important note here is that you have to use your legal name if you want to do the electronic identity proofing that we're going to cover later on in the video. If you don't use your legal name, the electronic identity proofing won't work. You also need to have a social security number to do the electronic identity proofing, but it's not required. There's a paper option. So just a note about names. So at the top, it's your information, and then it asks for your organization or your company information. And then once you click on complete registration, it's going to take you to the home page. And from here, on the overview page, you're going to select an existing site in order to get permissions for a site that already has an EPA ID number, connecting that EPA ID number to your personal account. So I just copied and pasted an EPA ID number in there. You have to click that box on the left-hand side, and then the buttons will change so that you can click on the request access button. And then you have a few different options for permission level. So the first one is site management, which just can be none or active. Site manager or site management permission means that you have all of the permissions for every module, and you don't need to select any other permissions for the other modules. If you're the site manager, requests for site permissions for that site will go to you instead of going to your regulator. The permission that you need for the new rule is eManifest certifier. And certainly I recommend having at least 2 people have that permission for your site. I'm also going to show you if you want to search by a site name. For example, you have multiple sites that you need to get the same permissions for, you can select more than one, or there's actually a button at the top for select all, and then you can request access for multiple sites at the same time. So once you actually request your permission, the next time you go to sign into your account again, you'll be redirected to login.gov. And then this time, instead of create an account, we're doing sign in. And then you go through the same sign in process. It'll take you back to RCRA info again. And then it's going to take you to the electronic signature agreement page. That's because you have certifier permission or site manager permission. So any permission that allows you to sign a form. In order to be able to electronically sign a form, you have to have an electronic signature agreement. There's two ways to do that. The first one is this electronic identity proofing. So this is asking for your personal information and it's checking your identity using LexisNexis. So it's not storing the information, but you'll note here that it is asking for your home mailing address. So sometimes this identity verification doesn't work if you've moved recently or changed your name recently. You can say no if you can't or don't want to do electronic identity proofing. Note this is not actually the correct address because this is the pre-production system. But anyway, you'll print out the electronic signature agreement, and then you'll have to mail it in to me at my office with an original ink signature on it. And then once I receive that at my office, I have to go into the system and say, yes, I received this agreement. So if you go that route, it takes a little bit of extra time to get everything set up in your account. If you are able to do the electronic identity proofing, it's pretty much instant. So it is nice if you can do that, you can get everything set up and completed. Once you have site permission, whenever you log in and it takes you to the home page or the overview tab, then the next thing is to click on the My Sites tab. And then you can click on the name of your site and it'll take you to this site details summary page. You can see this map of where the site is located. And then next to site details, the tabs that are blue clickable links depend on what permissions you have. And so you can see in the My RCRA ID tab, that's where you would be able to submit an updated notification form by just clicking on Create New Submission. And then on the eManifest tab, that's where you'll see your manifests and you'll be able to receive your completed manifests back from your treatment, storage, and disposal facility that's receiving the waste.